Today I'm going to talk about mental illness a little bit. Um, it's really on the rise. When I was younger, I heard a lot of horrific things going on in the world, but what's going on now, it's things are just getting worse and worse as time goes on. We are in the last evil days, and there are a lot of people that are battling with mental illness. It is not anything to play with. There's nothing wrong with going to therapy. Just because you go to therapy does not make you a crazy person. Um, like, for instance, I know that some people in certain communities look at going to therapy as a sign of weakness. It's not a sign of weakness. God can work through people. He can speak through people. He uses vessels to help us. There's nothing wrong with going to someone and discussing your problems. There's nothing wrong with it. Um, because there's a lot of people that are walking around that are literally on the edge, on the edge of destruction. They're having a lot of issues that they cannot deal with. They feel very overwhelmed with their problems. There are people that are going through financial problems, marital problems, stress, financial problems, just going through a lot. And I really do believe that illness stems from regrets from the past, regrets of things that you have no control over, regrets of things that you cannot change. You cannot change the past. You cannot change the mistakes that you've made. The only thing that you can do is come to grips with the fact that you're human, you made mistakes, and I will also say that you need to have a praying life. You need to go to God in prayer. And for those of you who don't believe in God, ask God to manifest to you that He's real, because He is. You can't tell me that there's not a God that resides, because I have seen him move in my life. And I know that if I didn't have a strong relationship with God, I don't know where I would be. I don't even want to think about it. There was an incident that happened where there was a man that deleted 8 of his children. He shot his wife, and he shot the mother of one of his children. I don't like to say baby mama, the mother of one of his children, or perhaps two of his children. I'm not really sure. It happened in Louisiana, and it just really hurt my heart. It just devastated me and devastated a lot of people, because these children did not have a life, did not have the chance to live. They did not have a chance to graduate from elementary school, graduate from high school, go to college. They didn't even have a chance to even live a full life. Their life was taken from them at the hands of somebody that was supposed to love and protect them. And according to reports, he was going through a divorce with his wife. They were scheduled to go to court the following day, to court for divorce proceedings. And obviously, he didn't take it very well. See, this is what I'm talking about: rejection. There are people that cannot deal with rejection. They they just lose their mind when it comes to when somebody doesn't want them anymore. I'm not saying that you shouldn't feel hurt when you get rejected, because sometimes you wonder, is there something wrong with me? Why this person doesn't like me? But you have to realize that everybody's not going to accept you, everybody's not going to like you, and it's okay. Just because somebody rejects you doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. It's just that you're not for the person, and the person is not for you. If a person chooses to go on with their life and they want to live their life in peace, I mean, and I noticed that when there's a tumultuous relationship and the person wants to move on forward with their life, the person doesn't want to let the individual go. They don't want to release the person. So the cops had to delete the man, and the wife and the ex are fighting for their life right now in the hospital. Okay, they're fighting for their life. I believe they said that the ex girlfriend has a chance of making it. I don't know about the wife, but I know that there are babies now that are gone at the hands of their father. There was another incident that happened where there was a former lieutenant governor. I'm sorry, I forgot his name. He and his wife were also in the midst of a divorce. He was supposed to leave the house. He had 1 week to leave the house. They were still living in the same house, which I would say, if you're going through a divorce, don't stay in the same house as your ex, as your soon to be ex. I know that there's some people that do it for financial reasons. I understand that. But if you could go somewhere, if you could stay with a relative for a while until you get on your feet, please do so, because a divorce is a very tumultuous time. It's very stressful, and I understand because I've been through it. When I went through the divorce from my ex, I didn't tell him I was divorcing him. I didn't tell him. He was staying in Brooklyn and I was in Queens with my parents. I somehow got his address because I had to serve him the papers. And he didn't know I was divorcing him until those papers were served. And I had to move in silence. I had to move that way because I knew that he was not going to cooperate. I mean, why should he? I was his meal ticket. He didn't want to give up his meal ticket. You understand what I'm saying? He didn't want to give up his meal ticket. So he had a lot more to lose, but I had more to gain. So I had to do what I had to do. Some people can't take rejection. They just can't take rejection. They cannot take, you have some men, some women that say, well, if I can't have you, nobody else can. When you hear somebody say this, you run to the hills, you run for your life, because they're telling you, I'd rather take you out than to see you with somebody else. And there are people that do that. They don't think about being incarcerated. They don't think about how it's going to affect the children. They don't think about anything like that. All they think about is, I'm going to take you out before I let you move on with somebody else. And the governor, the ex lieutenant governor, um, they say that he was dealing with mental illness. But my question is this: he had sense enough not to delete his children. If he was really dealing with mental illness, wouldn't he have taken out the whole family? I'm glad he didn't take out the kids. Don't get me wrong. But people are quick to label people having mental illness. But I think some people, it's not always mental illness. Some people are just evil. Some people are just extremely evil and demonic. You know, it's not always mental illness. I mean, yes, there are people that are battling with mental issues. There are people that are battling with all kind of problems and horrific situations, because you know um there's a lot of people that are walking around that are dealing with all kind of problems and all kind of scenarios. But I thank God. I'm thankful to God that he didn't delete his children. I'm thankful to God. And I think that he was I think he wanted custody of his children, but she didn't get he didn't get custody of the children. So I think it was a very, very messy and tumultuous divorce. And he flipped. He flipped out. And she was a beautiful young lady, beautiful, beautiful young lady. And you would never think that this individual would do something like this, but you don't know what's in a person's heart, and you don't know what a person is thinking. And still waters run deep. My prayers are with the families of the victims. And please be very careful who you allow into your circle. If you're single, be careful who you marry. Don't be anxious to get married because you want to say you're married or because you're lonely. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with getting married, but be careful who you marry. Make sure you go to God and make sure that this is a person for you. Stay vigilant, stay sober, stay safe, and watch as well as you pray. God bless you.